Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 1, I guess 1.5, of NARP Plays. There was a little intro video, but this is the first actual game that I'll be playing. And unfortunately, my screen capture program corrupted the file of the original recording, so I'm just going back through GEMP and kind of talking through the game as I remembered at the time. Because it was a fun game, it was a good game, and I didn't want to lose it. So the goal here of this series is to provide some help for new players who are looking at getting into SWCCG just by seeing another newbie fumble through things, and also hopefully if veteran players are watching, they can point out some of my mistakes as well, and that'll help me improve. Today we are playing Shadow Collective. My goal is to get enough games in before the Endor Grand Prix that I will not embarrass myself, although I'm planning on having fun regardless. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to play through the decks from the Outrider Cup. So I've got the Shadow Collective list that Bastion was playing for the Outrider Cup. And I have read this primer that was on the forums, which was helpful to me. And that is pretty much it. I've never played Shadow Collective, never played against it, and that was my kind of experience going in. Just looked at the deck list and looked at the primer. And so there will be plenty of mistakes. I can remember at least a few. So we're playing here against, this is actually, I found out at the end of the game, this is Eric Garchow, and he is playing the Yavin for Throne Room, which lets the light side go first, and for Shadow Collective, or maybe it's the site that does it, it lets, since they're going first, you get to start with Maul and play, which is great. Just helps that little bit extra to get going. But anyway, Eric, it was funny because when I found out it was Eric, I had bought cards off him as I was trying to get back into the game. So if you need some cards, he's a great option to go to. And we have a good game here. So yeah, Shadow Collective, if you're not familiar with it, essentially it is a ground battle deck. There are versions, I think, that can also play space. But primarily the goal is to hit them hard on the ground, use your weapons and weapon boosts and Maul's destiny modification to win battles, eliminate the opposition, maybe even clear them off the ground entirely, and then get your pings in from You'll Be Dead, and you can also get pings off the objective by occupying multiple battlegrounds and hitting your opponent. And there, when I played Masterful Move, I realized, oh, that can grab holograms, and the Maul effect is also a hologram. But I thought maybe we'll go with the Gick first for safety. Maybe I should go for the Maul effect first. So if you're more familiar with Shadow Collective, maybe you can tell me in the comments what the better play was there. We've both pulled our grabber. I am not too familiar with defensive shields yet, but the one thing that I do know is that that one comes out pretty much every game, so can go and grab it early, and then we use the objective to go get some sight to get our activation going. And our activation is going to be pretty important, because as we see a verify on the deck there, maybe you want to go back and pause it to look at it. But essentially, Eric's playing like a super denial choke version of the Throne Room deck. And so he has so many effects that mess with my activation, make me pay extra for stuff. And here I went and got, I believe it was added Battle Destiny thinking that I would, oh, I'll get a Battle Destiny and we'll clear each other off and whatnot. Not realizing or not remembering that Mace is immune to attrition. Less than 6, is that right? So maybe that was not a great card to pull in this situation. And so here's one of those interrupts there, makes me pay 2 extra for targeting. I can't use that because I have remembered that I do need to pay a force to use Draw Their Fire, and I was probably thinking about playing the interrupt, but then, you know, he doesn't have, I wouldn't be able to clear him off anyway, so I decided against it. And I was actually proud of myself. I remembered to use the inconsequential losses there to get the gun back into my deck. Oftentimes, you know, it's easy to just click on the character if they're going away. And so that was something that I had thought about going into this. So I really thought that there would be a barrier for one of those two, which is why I played Hondo first, because I figured Aura could take down Mace regardless. And so this felt like a pretty good turn. Get to come back, get to battle. We're almost guaranteed going to shoot Mace, get to retrieve one, lose one, and we'll probably end up losing Hondo unless he draws really well. But then here, oh, he's got another Jedi Mind Trick, so I have to cancel the battle. It was just like, oh my gosh, already so frustrating to play against the deck, but really cool design. And we can drop the disarm down there to make sure that my people don't get chopped to pieces. So maybe it would have been bad to, maybe I shouldn't have initiated in the first place, seeing that I had the disarmed. Otherwise there was a chance that both of my characters could have got chopped up there. So maybe him playing that interrupt saved me. You can comment if you think I should have initiated there, I should have waited. But he's got all the lightsabers, comes back in. And I can't remember exactly, but I feel like this battle he gets unlucky with his destinies, and it goes well for me. Yeah, so there's a 1, trying to hit Aura, and a 3. So now it's not greater, so that I don't even need to modify it, and it just misses, just straight up misses. So that's pretty rough whenever you have a lightsaber just whiff completely like that. So I try and shoot Qui-Gon. Maybe there was a better target, I'm not sure. If Anakin would be better to go after. But we get to flip Shadow Collective, and I didn't know whether I should recycle or not. You know, I didn't have any Destinies knowledge at all. I just drawn a 5. Maybe that's worth recycling back in. I wasn't sure, but if you think I should have recycled the deck there, feel free to let me know. And unfortunately my hand is getting pretty low, because that's one of the side effects of these choke style decks, is you're using all your force, you don't have that much to draw. So I did pay for the 2 Destinies. Now I'm going to try and hit Anakin here. And we get a good draw, so we can make it go +1, and then the sight gives us 6. So we got lucky there. Then I played Imperial Artillery, thinking I would put a 7 back in my deck, forgetting that with You'll Be Dead, it's a lost interrupt. So interesting to see the Imperial Artillery and You'll Be Dead in there. I guess the 1 extra trading of a card, 1 force for 1 force with the 7s is worth it. People that are smarter than me when it comes to deck building can determine that. I guess Bastion made the deck, and he's one of the best players around. So I'm not going to question it, but it did surprise me. And so yeah, I draw 2 really good destinies there. 6 and a 5. And I think I made a mistake somewhere here. So he takes Qui-Gon back into hand. And I lose the gun. Oh, maybe not. It was just his destiny was enough that there was 1 attrition remaining, and so Aura had to go as well. But with my draws, and then I drew enough attrition to get rid of Mace, so it's not a bad trade, I don't think. Unfortunately, my hand is too low to take advantage of it. But we're pretty even so far. 6 in my lost, 8 in his. He's just drawn a few more cards than I have, but I've got them all on the table. I put Proxima down just because I know I'm not activating a ton of force, and so I won't be able to put her down with a ton of people all at once. So I actually, probably this was the turn where I figured out, oh, the site can allow Maul to move. I kind of thought Maul was going to be stranded there for the game, but that site lets your Black Sun, is that either Gangsters or Black Sun, lets them move around your leaders maybe. I can't remember exactly, but that'll let them get off there. And over to the first light. And we just went to black screen on my computer. Not sure why that was. I'm not sure if that's showing up in the video or not. But then using Proxima, I dig for another Aura, which is awesome. I could drop her down, and I feel like she can hold a site pretty well on her own. Now I'm going to search for the Maul event, and I whiff. I was thinking I would move Maul over and they just each hold a site on their own while I try and get a little backup for Proxima. But I guess I moved her over there as well. So maybe this was a little weak. Just having Maul and Proxima against a mains deck that's probably asking for trouble. But yeah, if you think the play was okay, you can let me know. He comes down with Qui-Gon, and I think I got lucky that I was kind of expecting more there, and so I don't know if he just didn't have another good character to play at that point, or maybe just thought it was more important to block the drain with Jin. Unfortunately, that's a whiff on Proxima. But I do have Phantom Menace, Danik Jericho, Dr. Evazan, and so I think I'm going to come in for the big beatdown, but he's got a barrier. Okay, that's probably still okay. We'll drop Evazan down as well. I foolishly deployed that blaster to Aura. I'm not sure why I put that there. I think because I wanted that gun on Danik, and I think I was searching. I can't remember exactly why I did that. But I guess it's 3 forfeit fodder on Aura, so it should be fine. And then here's the card that I grab. It's a card that makes you pay. He just uses force out of your force pile, and with draw their fire on the table, I didn't want to get into a situation where I couldn't play my interrupts. So I don't know, maybe that's the wrong grab. Let me know in the comments if you think there's a better grab, having seen the deck on an earlier verify. And then now War's Not Make One Great, which is a card that I've like looked at a couple times and like, oh, I wonder if this sees play, and then lo and behold, here's a deck playing it. So just another way to make you pay extra for stuff. So here comes Ray. Maybe this is the battle where I get really lucky. I feel like one battle I had some luck. So yeah, there's another miss with his lightsaber swing, which is really good for me. Gonna use Aura to try and shoot Ray. I think I thought I would get to draw 2 here, but she's not actually a Jedi. She's just Force sensitive. But thankfully we got the 5 anyway. So again, lucky. And here I think I do recycle it. No, I didn't do it again. Yeah, I don't know when the best time is to recycle your deck, and then he drew a 5 for Battle Destiny again, which is unfortunate because I can move it to 4 and the gun only covers 3. Okay, so this wasn't the one I was thinking of. So we're both going to get cleared off here again. And he's going to move away with Qui-Gon. So now I'm in a tough spot because I'm like, I already get such a limited amount of force. I don't really want to run 4 guys over there to try and chase Qui-Gon. That's going to take too much of my force. So I think, I can't remember exactly what I end up doing here. Pull Jabba, and I think here I go to drain for 1. He makes it cost an extra 2, and so it already cost me 4, and then it was going to cost 2 more, and I should have never paid that 4 to drain for 1. Just really foolish of me. But I go looking in my force pile to see if I can get something, and I see this Maul Strikes card. I've never played with this card before, but I see that it can just let him duel someone, and I thought, huh, that's a good way to get rid of Qui-Gon, so I'm going to move Maul over there and give it a try. And at this time, I was thinking that I would be able to use Maul's ability in this Maul Strikes duel, so I thought there's no way I'll lose. His destinies are pretty low, and then I pulled 2, and I found I couldn't up the destiny with Maul's ability, so I was sweating. Thankfully pulled a 5, so I'm in like decent shape. And then he pulls a 4, and I go, oh my gosh, I just lost the game right here. But then he pulls a 2. So that was probably a bad play, although I think my deck should have higher destiny than his, or this deck, sorry, I shouldn't call it my deck, it's not my deck, I'm just playing it. But yeah, let me know if you think that was the good move or not. And so we're still fairly even, 27 to 25. Similar cards in lost piles. He's got a few more cards in hand. And so he's going to go deploy on Tatooine and start stacking up a drain. And that guy says that the force drain has to come from my force pile. And I was thinking, I do not want that to happen to me. Because I have such few force as it is. If he starts draining out of my force pile, I'm never going to be able to fight. And so here again, I pay 4 for the force drain of 1, which is probably a bad play, but I didn't really know what else to do. I knew I was going to deploy Jabba, I knew I was going to move Maul, and that was about it. And so I thought, hey, I might as well pay the 4. My hand size is decent right now. But I need to keep 1 so that I can play an interrupt if I need to. And so he grabs that, which is preventing me the extra activation, which is good in a choke deck to keep their activation down, I guess. So now at this point, I haven't pinged one off the objective at all. And I was quite lucky here. He tries to kill me in the control phase, and I had the canceller for that, so that worked out really well. But he's able to suck away one of my force here, and I think he's going to battle me. And I think he does. So I'm down a little bit. I can play one interrupt. Maul can take one shot. And I know Maul's fairly safe from with the Phantom Menace effect. It adds 2 to his destiny, so I wasn't too worried about losing him. And I think if you look back at the earlier verify, I think those were 2 of the lowest cards in Eric's deck, so he definitely got unlucky there. And I just went to shoot the alien that's gonna suck force out of my force pile. Maybe that's not a good play. I was really scared of that guy, so yeah, let me know if I should have taken a different target there. And then Mace can swing a second time. And this time I can reduce it, and so it's just 8, so it equals. I think out of those 3 cards, I think there's 2 5s left in his deck, so that was unfortunate for him, fortunate for me. Yeah, there you can see it again. He just wanted to, he just played it just to look and see what his destinies were. My screen is black again. Not sure if it's the same for everyone else or not, but we'll see here. So he comes in to take a shot at Jabba, and then clashes Jabba to get rid of him right away. Just so I'm looking like I might get overflowed here, because he's probably going to draw 5. Thankfully I had a Sith Fury for that Shizor. Otherwise that would be a really bad destiny to draw in that spot. And then pull a 6, and now I'm thinking, oh, okay, now I'm okay. I probably won't get overflowed, and Maul will probably be alright. And then, of course, he pulls the 3 there as he got his 5s on his shot. So I have to lose 4 here, or 5, and I think it's worth it to keep Maul around. So the gun handles 3. And then 2 more off the deck, so you can tell me if that was the right move or not. But I was pretty confident that, yeah, the 2 extra wasn't going to hurt that much. And Maul is, as far as I understand, pretty key to the deck. Now at this point you're probably wondering why I only have 2 First Light sights down when I am starving for activation. Or maybe you were wondering it a long time ago. And this was just a huge noob mistake of not looking closely enough at the deck list before playing. I didn't know there was a 3rd First Light sight, so I haven't been looking for it with Shadow Collective, and I think it was a couple times when I looked for blasters, it was in my force pile, so I just didn't see it, didn't know it was there. And now I considered moving Maul to Obi-Wan's hut here. But my thinking was that I was going to move him over to the Jedi Council chamber. So maybe that's too greedy. Maybe moving to the hut is a better play. But that was my thinking at the time. I put Dengar down alone because he's got a couple shots, the plus destinies, and I have the Gick in my hand and the Gick effect in play, so I wasn't worried even if I didn't draw destiny. I'm thinking that we would probably trade if he comes down there with someone, or even two people. So although that looks a little weak there, that was my thinking. And then now I lose the first light sight off the top. And I think in the original recording I was going, oh, there's a third first light sight. Well, I'm an idiot. So that would make it a lot easier to occupy 3 battlegrounds for the objective. Yeah, because I didn't do it once this game. And maybe that's normal against another heavy ground deck. I don't know. Those of you that are more experienced with this deck will maybe be able to tell me if it's just common that you're not getting the pings in from your objective against another ground deck. So yeah, there I think I thought that Maul had to move from there to a battleground, and so maybe my plan was to reinforce Hoth. And then when I noticed all the sights light up, I was like, oh, he could go anywhere. So yeah, that's a very powerful location that Shadow Collective has. It just gives them access to... because I was lamenting, I was like, oh, I don't have any spies. I can't get down to these sites to drain. But you don't need spies if you can move anywhere with the first light sight. So now he's been draining fairly regularly, and he's at least getting a drain of 2, whereas I'm like, do I pay 4 for a drain of 1 at the first light? I think I got 1 good drain off at the third marker. But now Luke's going to come down, and we're just going to trade here, I think. And I think here I play the Gick from my hand instead of the Gick effect. Maybe that's the wrong play. I don't know which. He knows that I have the Gick in hand. I pulled it. Oh yeah, he used Sorry About the Mess, so I didn't get a chance to shoot and clear him off the site. So that was really annoying. So yeah, I didn't end up having to use the Gick at all. So now he's got 2 sites, so I'm in a bit of a tough position, and I know that as the game gets lower, eventually I'm gonna be out. Oh yeah, here I didn't read. I didn't read Simple Tricks and Nonsense closely enough, and I just paid 4 and got my drain canceled at the Jedi Council chamber. So that was a big whoops. Because that meant I didn't have enough to... well, maybe I do here. Is Shizor 4 deploy? He must be. Yeah, okay. So I had Battle Destiny with either of them. So let Honda get barriered. Came down with Shizor. And try and clear Luke off this site. And then I'm trying to get, I think here again. Yeah, I think oh, I didn't battle. Oh, I don't think I had a force left to battle. That's right. I paid all my force to deploy, so I couldn't battle there and clear him off. So I'm a little bit open here, but he's only got 3 cards in hand, so I wasn't too worried. But he does have Obi-Wan with this lightsaber, Luke with this lightsaber. And my first strike has not been doing work for me. In fact, it has done the opposite. He initiated far more battles than I did this game. And so, yeah, I guess I was always a little bit on the back foot in that regard. cool deck though from what I saw of Shadow Collective. Very aggressive, some tricks, ways to move around, ways to deal with opposing characters. I guess theoretically should be activating enough that it can pay through the battle plan and focus on draining at the third marker. Since it won't have any space. And I also, the other mistake that I know I've been making this game is that I haven't been able to get more than one ping because I've only had one battleground under control. So I should be pinging for 2. It would have helped again if I had deployed the other first light site. So there, that's a bad trade for me. I lose 2 to his Luke. He's still got Obi-Wan there. And now I'm kind of realizing I'm in trouble. I'd forfeited the Gick effect, or the Gick actually to a Force Drain earlier, knowing that I had the effect still. So now I don't have that protection anymore. And now, yeah, last turn I made the mistake of not moving Maul off of the Jedi Council chamber, thinking that I was going to get the third marker back and that he'd be able to drain there. And so that set me back a turn. That was really bad. Here I send down Lando just to try and clear off Obi-Wan with the attrition draw. Did I say Lando? I mean Django. Lando system. That's what I was thinking probably. So he's going to get hit here. And I probably didn't track this Destiny around. That's one thing where I'm really bad at still, is tracking. But I thought that I had enough 5s and 6s in my deck that I should be able to draw high enough to break Obi-Wan's attrition, and I do end up doing that. And so we end up even there on power. And that's a good trade for me, but Maul is still stuck there, and I have no more characters in hand, and he's been kind of chipping away with this 2 drain over at Tatooine. So maybe I should have, knowing the fighting power of Shadow Collective, maybe I shouldn't have ran from there and just tried to reinforce instead. But yeah, who knows? It would have definitely gone differently. Now I draw another character, and now I'm thinking, okay, he can't have that many characters left in his deck. Maybe I'll deploy Kira to the third marker and move Maul back there. But then I thought, it's better to have Maul at the third marker. He's got the gun, so maybe I'll put him over there, and then Kira down at first light and try and get Kira into the Jedi Council chamber. So my plan here is still to try and get to the third marker and get to the Jedi Council chamber, and then I think maybe I can catch up in the drain race. I'm down a little bit here because he's got 6 cards in hand, so he's got an extra 3 for some of your 7 cards in hand. But unfortunately, I think I just tried to, or maybe we'll see it here. Yeah, we'll see it here. So I go to pay to... Oh, no, I don't go to pay to drain. Okay, I just deploy Kira, and then I think I'm going to move Maul the third marker and move Kira back to the council chamber. Yeah. And so now I'm thinking, all right, here we go. This is where I catch up. He probably doesn't have any characters left. Now I can start paying to drain for 3, plus getting the ping of 2, and I'm going to be able to swing this game back. That's what's running through my head right now anyway. And then he drops Chewbacca, and I'm like, no, he gets 2 destinies. He's probably going to shoot them all. His reserve deck is so stacked with high value destinies. And sure enough, he comes down. And spoilers, he's going to hit me here. Even with the -1 from Maul, I think he goes 5/5. Yeah. And now I realize that all my plans have crumbled, and I've got Kira useless again at the Jedi Council chamber. Maybe I should have reinforced the 3rd perimeter and not got greedy, but I thought that I wouldn't be able to catch up that way. I thought I was too far behind. And then here I make a mistake and I don't forfeit the blaster first, and so that's a card, 1 less card in my deck. And I didn't shoot Chewie there because I knew then he'd drop Battle Destiny. I was trying to get a little bit of overflow maybe onto him with the Destiny to Power, or with the Battle Destiny. And then he's got the Jedi Mind Trick to make me pay an extra 2. At this point, I'm like, I'm not doing anything else with my Force. I might as well get the 1 drain in. But now I know drain for 1, ping for 1. It's not going to be enough. And it's going to take too long to get Kira over there. And that was a mistake. I just clicked it to check my deck for some reason. And then found out, oh, I have to deploy the gun. So now that's another 1 less card in there. So there's a few mistakes I am identifying here, which is good. And I think at the time, after the fact, I did as well. So don't click Shadow Collective unless you're prepared to deploy a gun, because there can be one in your deck. And so now I think my game plan was Kira to the 3rd perimeter, Proxima, start moving her towards the Jedi Council chamber because I noticed she's a leader, but I probably should have done that last turn. Like, she should probably already be at the first light site if that is my plan. And then maybe I would have 1 turn of ping for 2, drain for 3, 5, and it might put the game in range, but no, at this point I know he's going to keep looping Jedi Mind Trick. So there's nothing really I can do about it. And I think I concede here. Yeah. So, yeah, great game, and definitely a tough deck to play against with Managing Force. I definitely made some mistakes, but there is a couple ways that you can kind of see how, you know, Shadow Collective can be strong on the ground. Maybe I should have been more aggressive. I think that's my biggest question. Just hammer at that Tatooine site. So you can let me know below if that was the play. But that was game 1 of NARP Plays. I'm going to do 3 games per deck. I know that's not a great way to get a feel on it, but I've got just a couple months before the Indoor Grand Prix, and I want to try and at least get a few games in with all the top decks, just so I have an idea of the meta going into it. You know, I'm still learning the card pool, so having a handle on some decks is the goal. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you come back for the next one, and until next time, may the Force be with you.